We have a breaking news at the Maranello where Ferrari has signed Verstappen's race engineer Giambiasso Lambiassi. He will be working with Antonio Giovinazzi. Bellissimo! Mwah! Mwah! Have some of that shit delectable. Forza Ferrari. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Forza Ferrari. Today we have the Miami Grand Prix and we will have it with a new race engineer for Antonio Giovinazzi, Giampiero Lambiassi, or GP as he's often known on the Red Bull team radio. We have signed him away from Red Bull. We've paid a little bit of money to get him over here, but very, very much worth the while. He's a 90 rated engineer. Let's going to have a bit of a look at him here. He's going to do a good job for Giovinazzi. I think the only thing that is lacking is composure, but that's okay because we can hopefully develop him in that sense anyway. If we work on responsiveness, we'll do this one, and yeah, well, we can work on that, but that's okay. The main things are really, I think, what we want. We can see here we've got a 4-year deal, $2.5 million, which is about, I think he was on 1.6 or 7 at Red Bull, so I just want to make sure he was coming to us. Basically, it's much to take him away from them as as for us to have him. So yeah, that's really, really good news. Yeah, he's going to be a big improvement on what we had, because one thing that was happening is when I was going through and doing the free practices, Mick Schumacher's race engineer would have it like they would get their setup so much quicker than what Antonio Giovinazzi would. So that should hopefully turn around now. But reminder, we are sitting third in the championship standings, and we have Gio. He is currently 4th there in the driver's standings and Mick in 8th. So Mick Schumacher just needs to do a little bit better for us. If he could, that would be great. Now, the cars, let's have a look at what we've done here, because we do have parts in development. Underfloor and suspension, we're going again on those to try and improve the car for this year. It might be our last updates for this year. We'll see how long it takes for everything to come through the system. We might go again on the next R&D update, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And we do have a new rear wing. Now this is a brand new rear wing. Now I'm thinking what we might do, even though we're going to be a little bit low on spares, is we might stick it on the car for this one anyway, because it's going to make a difference. If we go and have a look at rank on the grid, it's going to make a difference. So it's going to make the car a bit heavier as well, which isn't great, but it is going to make a difference. So we'll stick it on maybe just Giovinazzi's car, to make sure that we don't run out of spares, because the last thing we need to do is yeah, have something go a little bit wrong there. So that'll give us an idea then too of, we can sort of compare them back to back, and yeah, we'll see exactly how that works. But if Giovinazzi's quicker here, Mick's got an excuse at least. So that is that. The drivers, now if we go back to inbox, there is a way that I have discovered to show you the driver improvements, driver development update. Here it is here. So the guys are developing. This is Giovinazzi, this is Mick Schumacher, so we can see all their individual attributes. So they are improving, and that is good, even if their overall ratings haven't necessarily gone up. And Gabriele Mini there, he is also improving, so that is good to see. Now we did have one, you may have noticed here, little development center improvement. So we have a 50% effectiveness for 45 days, so that's good. Hopefully that'll help. Now we've got this, it came at the same time as you can see there, the new development period, so hopefully, or the day after actually, hopefully that'll mean that that'll just come through a little bit quicker and maybe even be a little bit better, because one of the things, I don't know if it says it down here, yeah, so everything was a little bit more effective as well. So let's hope that it means those upgrades will be that much better again. But that was pretty much everything. See, we scouted a couple of race engineers. It was between GP and Pete Bonington. Ultimately, Red Bull's ahead of us more so than Mercedes. I wanted to piss off Red Bull more than I wanted to piss off Mercedes, so that's why we did that. But yeah, that otherwise is that. As I say, it's Miami today. Let's have a look at what we're doing here at the Miami track. There hasn't been too many races here. This is in real life was only the second one, wasn't it? So red is sector 1, blue sector 2, yellow sector 3 for qualifying. Sections by speed, we can see it's mostly fast and flowing, but that last sector or so is very slow and just traction zone. So it does have a little bit of everything. We can see there what we need: top speed, acceleration, and low speed cornering. Time considerations are there as well. You'd imagine a safety car is likely, given that it's a street circuit. It doesn't save you that much time in the pits though. 1 stop or 2 stops. It's one of those, isn't it? You probably would like to be racy. I always think you'd rather be racy than trying to hang on to tyres. Now, the drop-off, so it's almost a second a lap faster, soft to the hard, and about 3/10 of a lap. And but the drop-off is to the medium, but the drop-off is significant on the soft tyre. So the medium may well be the best tyre, because you're gonna catch up, I'd imagine, lap time-wise pretty quickly. So a soft, medium, soft is very racy. I wonder if you could do medium, soft, and be a little bit more racy again. I think already I'm looking at that and thinking that's what I might look to do here. So we might try to save a set of medium tyres. But there's everything else in terms of race preparation. Let's go and have a look at our performance targets. Qualifying position. So 2 cars in the top 4. That is a very, very big ask. In fact, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Well, I mean, we can do it. We're going to try for it, obviously, but if we assume that the Red Bulls are going to be in the top 4, it means we have to be ahead of both Aston Martins and both Mercedes, as well as anybody else who might decide they're going to stick their head up in there. So 2 cars in the top 6 for the qualifying streak. It just got difficult, didn't it, on that sense? So let's hope the rear wing is good, and let's head off to Miami. So we have rain for Friday practice, but the rest of the weekend is going to be fine. Now, Miami typically is a bit of a chaotic race, so let's hope that we can get a nice setup and stay ahead of the chaos. Alright, so free practice is done. Let's have a look and see how we did. Now, FP1, it was second for Giovinazzi. It was 4th for Mick Schumacher. Now, the FP1, FP2 were interrupted by rain, so that might play around with a little bit with who got the runs in at the right time. It was 5th and 7th in FP2. And then FP3, Mick Schumacher was 6th on the medium tyre. We've really been struggling to get Giovinazzi a setup, so he was down there in 13th in this one, which is slightly worrying. I think we're just about there, but what we don't have particularly is him being confident. You can see his confidence is only at 50%, so that's not ideal. But Q1 still shouldn't be a problem for him. Let's just confirm that. And indeed, we were absolutely fine. 3rd and 4th, some good laps. Only had to do 1 run as well. So, yeah, that is very, very promising. So, on to Q2. Alright, so we are looking fairly good. First run we did was on a used set of soft tyres. And we have saved 2 sets of mediums, by the way. New sets of mediums for the race. So, we're a little bit tight on tyres for qualifying. There was a big part of me that wondered if we needed to come out for a second run. We probably don't. We've got a second over Stroll in 10th. Is anybody outside of the top 10 going to beat us? And probably not, to be honest. As Mick Schumacher here, we'll jump on board with him. We're not going faster either, so that's extra frustrating. And yeah, we don't need this lap. We don't need this lap, so we'll just save a little bit of extra on the tyres, I think, and abandon early. So 2nd and 4th, very, very nice indeed. Let's see if we can stay there now in Q3. Alright, well, I'm not really sure what's happened here. We did use the tyres that we sort of did our abandon lap on for the first run, but we're 8th and 10th and a second off the pace. So I didn't see us get any traffic. It looks like we're going to get stuck behind a Haas here. That's going to really, we're on board with Giovinazzi. That's going to really, really hurt him. He's lost so much time there. Now, is Mick going to just get him down the straight here? It looks like he is. So Mick's going to be okay, but Giovinazzi has not gone faster in that first sector, and considering he's a second and a half off the pace, he's gone faster in the second sector. Mick has done green. Well, we should get ahead of Ocon here with Giovinazzi, because there's not that much time between us, but it depends how much time. Of course, he lost behind Hulkenberg there in that first run. It's not going to tour de plan for Giovinazzi. He stays 8th. Mick goes 4th, though. Good lap for him. So, a bit of a disaster there. Look at that. I mean, Antonio Giovinazzi was 7/10 at 29.0. Would have got him, well, just behind Mick. So, if he'd done the same lap he did in Q2, we'd be 4th and 5th. So, that gives you an idea of roughly how much Nico Hulkenberg has hurt us there. Anyway, we can't undo that. So, let's go to this race. And I suppose the one good thing is that we know that the car is relatively quick. Now, a soft, medium, soft is quite comfortable. A medium hard is also quite comfortable. We know the hard tyre isn't the greatest. So I think what we want to do is medium, given we've got 2 fresh sets of mediums, is we want to do, look to do a medium, and then soft at the end. And then if we get a safety car, well-timed safety, because we would need to come in and put on a soft tyre, wouldn't we? Alright, so do we say with Giovinazzi, because he's down there in 9th, he's out of position, soft tyre, try and make up as many positions as we can off the line in that first stint, come in, we can push 2 sets of mediums, and we should get and then an undercut, as long as we come out in free air, which we should do, hopefully anyway, then we should be able to then get an undercut on 2 medium tyres. So I think I like that strategy for him. But I'm wondering with Mick, who is that little bit further up the field. You'll see we did end up nailing Giovinazzi's setup as well, so that's a nice positive for us. I wonder if with Mick, though, we do look to go what my initial thought was, medium, and then a soft tyre at the end. And what that also does is just give you a little bit of extra protection. If there's a safety car, we can at some point go into a hard tyre, which should get us from here to the end, and then you still got the option of a soft. So I think I like that for Mick. He can be a little less racy, perhaps, but have the quick car at the end. And then Giovinazzi's just going to be the complete opposite. And they will both be using their ERS at the start, as ever, to try and get up as many positions as we can. All right, let's go do this race. All right, welcome back. Here we go, the Miami Grand Prix. And what can we do? Disappointing qualifying for Giovinazzi. We can try and make up for that. And Mick... Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't say that Mick was going to push necessarily as much as Giovinazzi on the medium tyre. We will push him. We can just pick and choose when that is. Whereas with Giovinazzi, he's just got to try and attack as best he can, really, doesn't he? Now, he is still in 9th, which isn't ideal. He's in amongst a bunch of soft tyre runners, really. Alonso's very racy. That's because he's starting on a soft. And you would think... given the way that the expected strategies work for the AI, that what's going to happen here is that we might need to push a little bit here actually early on to try and stay with these front couple. Yeah, you'd imagine they'll go soft, medium, soft, but then equally we saw the drop off a 1/10 of a second a lap. What is likely to happen is that the stints will come back to Mick on both our cars on the mediums because the drop off will be less. And we're also able, the drop-off will be less, and we're also able to push them a little faster. We don't really care about the leader, we want intervals, so we're out of DRS range, which is not ideal. Let's try and push a little bit more, Mick. We've really got to try and get into the DRS range. We'll go full attack, which is risky, obviously, but it kind of just needs to happen. Because once we lose DRS, the Red Bulls, you imagine, are going to drive away from us a little bit. And yeah, 1.4 seconds still. So DRS is online, Alonso is flying, and we're just not quite able to go with the pace that they have right now. So do we call this, or do we keep burning through everything and give it one last chance? Giovinazzi's still in 9th in a bit of a DRS train, ironically behind Mick. But yeah, DRS has not been acquired. And we've been able to keep Stroll behind us there fairly comfortably. And it looks as though we might even have caught the back of Alonso here. We should be within DRS range now. The battery is empty, but we've just about got ourselves into DRS range there. So hopefully we'll be able to tow ourselves along a little bit. If we go back out of it now, then it's kind of a little bit of bad luck. We were in it with the detection zone, I think. Yeah, we were. So Mick's going to have to try and hang on there. As for Antonio Giovinazzi, he is in a little bit of that DRS train. Ocon in front of him is... well, he's not in DRS, so we should be able to get a move done down this back straight here. Let's deploy and try and get past him as quickly as possible. But we've actually dropped out of DRS of him. So, yeah, we haven't got the best pace in this one, have we? Certainly with Giovinazzi in that new rear wing. Okay, so DRS assisted, a little bit of ERS as well. We finally managed to get past Esteban Ocon. Took a few more laps than we would have liked, but that's job done by Gio there. And another one for Giovinazzi. DRS again assisted, no ERS this time, but past George Russell in the Mercedes, so that's him up into 7th now, I believe.
And the Ferrari moves up.
So to give you an idea of how the race currently looks, the Red Bulls have disappeared. Alonso is within range of them. And then we've got Mick Schumacher holding up a little bit of a Mick Schumacher train as Alonso comes into pit. So this might be the time now for Mick to start going a little bit, for everybody to start going a little bit, actually. Giovinazzi is coming up to his window, so we'll put him on full send as well. And, yeah, well, we'll see. Giovinazzi's been overtaken again there by George Russell, but he should get him back. I would have thought he has. Excellent. We just don't want to get stuck into too much of a battle. This is the optimal lap to stop, so we should probably come and do that. We'll stick on a medium tyre and keep your fingers crossed that what we get here is a good Ferrari pit stop.
Box pit confirm.
And not a... we want Lambiase to give us a Red Bull pit stop, don't we? And not the other way around, as Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race. And let's see what Giovinazzi's doing here. We maybe should have been pushing him on these tyres a little bit sooner. But that's okay. Mick Schumacher is still quite a ways back, 9 seconds back of the Red Bulls, and still holding up this train a little bit. But if he can hold him up with Giovinazzi in the pits, then maybe we can get a bit of an undercut based off of that. But Stroll and Hamilton, they've been unable to get past him. They've been stuck behind him. So we've obviously done something right with the car, because we're like Alexander Albon right now. They just can't get past us. Here we go. Everything crossed. Are we going to do a good one? It looked pretty good. It looked very good. 2.5 seconds. And Alonso is passed, as you would expect him to be. He was already in front of us. We come out right with Nico Hulkenberg, or Hulkenberg, as Ricardo would say. Now, we know that we can push these tyres a little bit more. I don't think Hulkenberg has stopped, has he? No, he's still on an old set of softs. So we need to try and get this done as quickly as possible, and then set off down the road after Gasly. But, yeah, stops have begun. And Mick Schumacher is in third right now. So another one for Giovinazzi, and if we look on the pit exit here, not only did we get past Gasly, but coming out of the pits here is Lewis Hamilton, and we managed to get past him as well. So a bit of an undercut there on Lewis, which is excellent. Okay, so we are coming in for Mick Schumacher's stop now. He's in third. Alonso is closing him down at a great rate of knots. Alonso is just very, very quick. Now here we go. Can we get another good stop? Tyres on, tyres off. Another 2.5 second stop. We'll have some of that. Excellent. Now let's see where this brings him back out. This will be his second set on the mediums. Of course, a reminder, he has the soft tyre to come. He comes out behind Hamilton, in front of Gasly, and in front of Ocon, who has just set the fastest lap of the race. So we are currently 6th and 8th. Giovinazzi with 2 medium tyre runs to come. Mick with... well, he's on a medium, so he's got one more stop to go on to a soft. No, to go on to a medium, and then Mick has another stop to go on to a soft, yeah. So... yeah, there we are, there down the back straight. Let's see if we can... Stroll hasn't stopped yet, has he? So Stroll, we can probably get an idea here of who's trying to one-stop. Perez, Stroll, and Russell look like they are... or Perez is stopping now. So there's a few one-stoppers. Stroll and Russell are the only 2 of them yet to stop. And given that Giovinazzi is about to pass them, I don't think that's going to work for them. Okay, so the one-stoppers have now all stopped. So Giovinazzi is 4th, Mick is 6th. We have Hamilton in the middle of us, all over the back of Giovinazzi just now. So, yeah, it's looking... top 6 is looking fairly comfortable. I wouldn't have thought Russell and Stroll are going to be able to come back at us. I think they're going to be too slow at the end of the race when we have fresh tyres again. So I'm fairly comfortable with where we're sitting. Let's... what's happening here? Whose pit window are we coming into? What have I done? Oh, tyres are a little bit hot for Mick. That's okay. Now, is he within DRS? Because what I would like to do, if he is start to harvest up his battery, ready for an attempt at the fastest lap. I'm just trying to keep Hamilton behind Giovinazzi right now, so we're just sort of burning a little bit of extra petrol at the end of the straight, so less lift and coast. And what we really want to do is get Mick inside the DRS range so we can get towed around and charge up the battery. But yeah, last stops will be coming fairly shortly. We are in the pit window now for Antonio. He'll be coming in the next few laps. And we do now have DRS, so we'll start and try and harvest up Mick and get him ready for a fastest lap attempt once he's got his soft tyres on at the end. Alright, so this has worked fairly well. We have charged up the battery now. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit behind, we're going to sit here. Now Hamilton is still stuck behind Giovinazzi. We must have really good straight line pace because he can't get past him. And what we're going to do is Giovinazzi should be coming in next lap. So not this lap around, but the next one. And then once he's done that, I think we'll deploy Mick, get him past Lewis. And because Hamilton should be coming in relatively soon as well, I would have thought. Or is he trying to get to the end, perhaps? No, he can't be getting to the end. So, yeah, he's just not using his tyres as hard as we are. But, of course, we're doing that by choice. So this should be us saying optimal lap. There it is. So Gio will be coming in for the medium tyre. Nothing too much will be changing for him.
Box and pit confirm, please. Box and pit confirm.
It's weird hearing Lambiassi's voice, isn't it, over the Ferrari radio? But anyway, I think too with GP with like Giampiero Lambiassi, it sounds Italian if nothing else, doesn't it? Now Giovinazzi could be in a little bit of trouble here actually. Hamilton is all over the back of him. It's not the end of the world if he gets past it here. But Mick, opportunistic Mick, is he going to get it? Oh, he has to back out of it a little bit. Oh, he goes again. And Mick Schumacher, is he going to force him into the wall? Go on, Mickey boy. All right, let's... do we want to deploy and keep him behind us, or do we just want... Let's have another look at that, actually. That was a stunning overtake from Mick Schumacher. You're not supposed to overtake through here. And, well, there he is. And just making Hamilton get out of it as well. Yeah, very nicely done. Okay, so Giovinazzi comes in. Everything crossed once again. See if we can get another undercut on Hamilton here as well, which would be nice. It's a little bit slower. But only it says 2.6, but we're sort of high 2.5s and then a very, very low 2.6 there. And we come out more or less where we left. Just Alonso, who was already behind us anyway, has come out in front. So it'll be interesting now to see if we can get really put Hamilton away now with that bit of an undercut on the fresh Giovinazzi tyres. And then Mick, well, he's just got to try and keep Hamilton behind him, and he's going to have soft tyres at the end. So he should be able to do it relatively comfortably. We can just see Alonso in the background there. Alonso is the third fastest car in this race, unfortunately. We are battling for 4th and 5th, and if we can get that, given that Stroll is down there in 8th right now on his little one-stop Stroll strategy, then it would still be a decent day for the championship. I would imagine we'd be the second highest point-scoring team, and that is all we can really ask for. Okay, now we are on Mick's optimal stop lap. Giovinazzi has undercut Hamilton, although Hamilton is going to be a little bit quick up on his tyres. So, what's the actual gap there? Intervals, so we're 5 seconds up. So that should be good enough for Giovinazzi to hold on. But now, what we need to do is get a good stop here for Mick and see if he can go and... well, he's battling Hamilton. Hamilton is going to undercut him a little bit, but we're going to have a soft tyre. It's back to 2.5. Excellent work from Ferrari. And Giovinazzi's gone past. Hamilton has gone past as well. Has he? There he is right there. Well, on a soft tyre, surely that position's going to belong to Mick. You would certainly hope so anyway, wouldn't you? We don't want to do too much early on here. We're going to have a go at fastest lap. I'm not concerned about... Oh, Hamilton is on a soft tyre as well. So maybe a little concerned. But, yeah, well, there's not much we can do about it now. He's still right there, isn't he? We've just got to hope Giovinazzi can hold him off. But here we go. We're going to use our deploy laps. And what we can do, of course, is if we don't manage to get past Hamilton, we should be able to anyway sit behind him and charge up the batteries again. But let's see if we can go and get fastest lap of this race now. Let Mick go attack, actually. If you're going to be going for fastest lap, you might as well do it properly. And... let's see what he can do. Are we going to do a purple first sector? I think the second and third sectors is maybe where our car is a little bit better, given that no one can pass us in a straight line. So we've gone fastest, personal best in first sector, but not an overall fastest lap. We've done a purple second sector. So can we finish off the lap now? This is the big question for Mick. Come on, mate. Long, long straight. Pick your braking point. Get the gas down, and then we should have fastest lap of the race, and it should be fairly safe at this point of the race as well. And he has done it, a 30.5. That is qualifying pace, Mick. That is brilliant. And we will now just go back to aggressive. We'll back off that a little bit. We'll keep deploying till we get to Hamilton's DRS, and then given that it's Giovinazzi in front of him, what I think we might like to do is not necessarily... we don't need to pass him, because the gap to up to the top 3 is insurmountable, essentially. So I think what we might like to do is we'll just sit here, and if we get past Hamilton, we get past Hamilton. That's all very nice, but I don't expect us to be able to necessarily stay there right now, given that Hamilton's on a similar tyre. But a very nice move nonetheless, and that is 4th and 5th. If we could stop the race right now, I think we'd all be fairly happy, wouldn't we? But there is still 10 laps to go here. Oh, Verstappen has nicked our fastest lap, that mother effer, by 2/10. Oh, unbelievable. That's annoying. Alright, we are sitting here behind Hamilton. We're charging up our batteries. I've just kind of, essentially, without telling him to sit there, have told him to sit there. We're cooling off the tyres. If you look at Hamilton's tyres, he's chonked through his softs. So he's a little bit slower. Now, anyway, the battery's fully charged. So we'll wait a couple of laps, and then, so we don't want to leave it for the last corner to try and get him or anything, but I think maybe one more lap here. We might even accidentally pass him, you know, if we're not actively harvesting. So, yeah, it's looking as though it's going to be 4th and 5th. Giovinazzi's doing a really, really good job in 4th. He's sort of keeping the gap. We've got intervals. He's actually pulling away from Hamilton. Yeah, so there's not. We just need to get Mick ahead of Lewis here. Once that's happened, then there's nothing really else in the race for us. So, yeah, it's just a matter of making this overtake happen. It might happen here, and if it doesn't happen here, then we might start to force the issue. Maybe this lap, when we get to that back stretch, the DRS there, then we'll look to deploy. And we don't. What's that? We don't. Yellow flag, race control, safety car. Oh, we should have done it sooner. Is the race going to finish under safety car?
So just watch out for any debris.
Well, what's happened? Magnussen has crashed, and he's just forgot to turn. He's taken his teammate out as well, has he? Right in front of the Red Bulls. Oh, you couldn't have taken them out. Oh, this race is going to finish under safety car, because I haven't let the lap cars past yet. We were just about to go for it, and that's, I guess, why you should just make an overtake when you have a chance to make an overtake and not wait for the right moment. But there's lap cars still in here. We're about to come around and start the last lap, and Hamilton has got away with it. Unbelievable. So here we go, safety car. It says safety car is ending, but that's because so is the race. And yeah, we can race to the line, but you can't overtake till you get there. And it is 4th for Giovinazzi, 6th for Mick, and Hamilton, you are one lucky boy. And of course, it shouldn't be overlooked that Alonso has won it, which is devastating, because that hurts us a little bit in the constructors, doesn't it? Especially when Stroll was having an otherwise bad day. Yeah, that is very, very disappointing indeed, and we missed out on a point. Look at that, 2/10. Verstappen nicked our fastest lap. So the drivers, Giovinazzi is 4th. Mick will stay there in 8th, though he's clawed himself back up a little bit to Russell and Stroll and Hamilton as well. He's not that far behind. So, yeah, he's coming back into things. And the constructors, well, we are 3rd, but we've lost 9 points there to Aston Martin, but we did pull out 4 on Mercedes. Now, the big question is, if we finish this season 3rd, how does the board react to that? Is that going to be enough for them to say, you know what, have another year, we trust you? Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Pit stops. We might have got some pit stop points here. No, we didn't. Everybody else is faster as well. So we still just have the 6 points there. We're still a little ways off the best, but we'll get there eventually. As long as I said last episode, as long as they're consistent, like 2.5 is fine. Just don't want to be losing seconds. You know, I'd rather lose tenths than seconds, obviously. So there we go. That is how the race weekend played out. It was a disappointing qualifying for Giovinazzi, and you do wonder what would have happened, although 4th was probably always the best available to him. And Mick just should have been 5th, shouldn't he? So there we go, that is that. If you've enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. The next event is a home race of sorts. It is the San Marino Grand Prix, although in truth I think San Marino is right near Maranello, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's actually that far away from Milan where Monza is either. So yeah, it is a home race of sorts for us. That's going to be exciting. It is 11 days away. We're not going to have any new parts on the car for it, but the rear wings seem to work okay on Giovinazzi's car. Mick will have it for this one as well, so hopefully yeah, hopefully both cars will get a benefit from that, and we will be able to go and be the second best team on the day. Until then, though, guys, I've been Aussie, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.